Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you all so much for being with me here today. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. Today I just want to share some really quick initial thoughts and impressions from Axpona 2025. I had the opportunity to attend all 3 days, had to leave a little bit early on Sunday to catch a flight back home, but for the most part I saw everything that I wanted to see and saw pretty much most all of the rooms. There was probably a few that I didn't see. There are certainly a few rooms that I wanted to go back and take a look at, but wasn't able to mostly because of crowds and so forth. So today I just really want to share some quick thoughts and impressions from Axpona 2025. Some of the things maybe that I learned. There's a couple of items that I saw there, new introduced items that I thought were really noteworthy that I'll share with you. And then also, I've got about 7 or 8 really good sounding rooms that I went to. I'll be doing a follow-up video to this one relatively soon, and we'll also talk about music in that video. I actually got introduced to some really good music that I hadn't heard before, which I was really grateful for. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Plus, we'll go through some more good sounding rooms. And then, of course, at that point in that video, I'll rank my top 10 best sounding rooms of Axpona 25. But really, my first initial impressions of Axpona 2025 were really fantastic. I had a wonderful time. My wife and I went out to Chicago and stayed really fairly close to the Schaumburg Hotel and Convention Center. Thought it was fantastic. Our first day there on Friday morning, we got there, and of course, this goose, as you see, was kind of what you saw at the very front entrance of the entrance. At least that's where our ride had dropped us off. Was right there at this entrance, and saw this goose, which was really kind of cool. And she wasn't moving for anything. But what a great venue this Schaumburg Convention Center is. It reminded me so much of the Consumer Electronics Show back in the 80s and 90s. Going through all of the rooms at the Sands Hotel, it was just awesome. And the Schaumburg Convention Center, at least the hotel part of it, reminded me of that very thing. It was so fun going through those rooms. It brought back such great memories. Really a wonderful, neat venue for high-end audio show. Of course, the marketplace was awesome. Of course, all sorts of media there could be purchased. And in the next video, I'll show you some of the media that I purchased there. Really, I didn't purchase a lot, but I did purchase some things there. So you had, vinyl records, SACDs, CDs, even reel-to-reels, headphones, all sorts of different tweaks that could be found in the marketplace. It was really a neat place to go and shop and look. And when you're kind of tired of listening to music, which I don't know how anyone could ever get tired of listening to music. What you do get tired of is the crowds. And so kind of a nice place to go mosey around and walk around. And so that was a great thing as well. On Saturday night, we had the opportunity, my wife and I, to see Patricia Barber. That was the night concert that they had there, and she was fantastic. She put on a great show, played some just absolute fantastic music. Patricia Barber is one of my favorite jazz female artists for sure. So it was a wonderful opportunity to listen to her and really, kind of take a break from all the craziness of the show and just relax and have a lot of fun. So that was really neat. Really, I kind of went to the Axpona with a couple of things in mind. And as many of you that watch the channel pretty much know where I'm at with my audio system. Purchased a new set of speakers about 6 months ago, and I'm looking to upgrade my 30-year-old amplification system. So I kind of went with a couple of things to investigate, at least amplifiers, preamplifiers, and so forth. And of course, phono preamplifiers, digital source equipment, and streamers and DACs, and that kind of thing. And so to me, it was really, I had a plan that I really wanted to see as much as I could of that type of thing, which really was really fun for me. I was able to see an awful lot. And really and truthfully, I gained a lot of information. And really, for me, it was just kind of a learning experience to really in the high end audio. It really digital and streaming is huge. It is huge. And of course, there were plenty of rooms that had a vinyl playback system. Even a few rooms had reel to reel, but there was a lot that had vinyl playback system. But they weren't doing using vinyl all the time. The vast majority, at least from my perspective and what I saw at the show, they were streaming from either Cobiz or Tidal. Some even had a NAS hooked up to where they could, access high resolution files for their demonstrations and so forth. And yes, a few were using SACD and CD as well. But really, digital is such a huge part of high-end high-end audio. It's just so much digital, and digital has come a long way in the past several years, at least from my perspective. The latest and newest digital equipment that I currently have is a 2014 2015 Sony HAP Z1 ES high resolution audio player. Still great sounding machine, still sounds great. I have an SACD CD player, which is also a Sony XA5400 ES. Sounds fantastic. Prior to leaving for the show, I had spent a week to 10 days and just barely took back just a day or two ago the DCS Lina network streaming DAC. And that in itself opened my eyes up to digital. Like I'm like way behind on what's really possible out there in the digital world. But boy, I sure got my sure feel for it at Axpona 2025 because virtually every room was streaming and playing some form of digital audio, and it was fantastic. It was great. It sounds great, and rightfully so. I mean, streaming and digital audio is so much easy to do. It's very quick. You can bring something up and play whatever someone wants to hear in a matter of a couple of seconds, and so it really does make a lot of sense in that respect, in particular at an audio show where you're providing demonstration. And so that was really fun. There was several, demonstrations that I heard that were using vinyl and loved that. And it all sounded absolutely fantastic. For me, I still am a vinyl first kind of guy, but it really did impress upon me, Axpona did, how important and how much I really do want to update and upgrade my digital streaming and SACD and CD playback because it really is something that I truly do love and enjoy as well as I do vinyl. And so that really was interesting for me is just to see so much streaming, of course, and understanding why that they do that, and it makes perfect sense. A couple things that really caught my eye, new things that was introduced at the Axpona 2025. Eva Ann Manley introduced the precision line phono preamplifier. This is a really neat unit. It has 6 inputs. They can either be line stage or they can be phono. So it's selective. It's really kind of a neat unit. I had an opportunity to play with it for a few minutes and listen to it through a set of headphones, playing a couple of vinyl records. Sounded great. I also had the chance while there, as you can see below, the Manley Oasis phono stage. That phono stage is something I've had my eye on for quite some time. That is a really neat thing. And depending on what I end up with preamplification wise, if it doesn't have a phono section in it, that's on my short list is the Manley Oasis. It really sounded great. I enjoyed my time listening to that. Really super neat thing. And I think for, I don't know, what is it, $3,500, $4,000, that's a really great sounding phono preamp. So I enjoyed my time there. I didn't catch if there was a price on the new precision line stage that just came out from Manley. I didn't catch if there was a price on that. But the other thing that really caught my eye, I was able to attend the PS Audio unveiling, if you will, of the PMG series of equipment, consisting of four pieces of equipment: a line level preamplifier, a reference level audio DAC, a reference level SACD CD transport. So happy to see that it includes an SACD transport, which it will send that DSD file to the reference line DAC, which I thought was really cool. Very, very much impressed with that. Plus a reference phono stage is the four pieces that were introduced by PS Audio. Paul McGowan was there providing information on that. Boy, the looks, not only on the outside, but on the insides, look really, really promising. Of course, none of those things were active. You couldn't hear them, but boy, it was sure neat to take a look at them and touch them and feel them a little bit. It was really, I'm excited for those. They're a little on the steep side. They're, I think he indicated $8,500 each for each piece, which is really quite expensive, but I'm sure that they will sound amazing, as most all the PS Audio equipment that I've had the opportunity to hear sounds really, really good. So those were two things that I was really, really interested in and was really happy to see. I've got 7 or 8 rooms that I'm going to talk about today that I thought had really, really good sounds. And I got some more rooms. We're going to be doing another video, kind of a follow-up, when we talk about music and some new music that I found. I'll also do some more good sounding rooms, and then from that list, including the ones that we're going to see today, I will provide my top 10 best sounding rooms at Axpona 2025. But these initial 7 or 8 rooms, I thought were just sounded fantastic. I thought the systems were great. The rooms were really good. Let's go ahead and talk about those. The first one was, and you know what? I was really happy to see this at Axpona. Most of the rooms you go into are pretty pricey. The equipment, the speakers, integrated amp, preamp, streamers, phono stages, turntables, whatever it might be, are pretty expensive, okay? They really are. Really some stratospheric type stuff as well. But there were some items there and some rooms that I thought were really reasonable priced. The first one I want to tell you about was the Rogue Audio and Magnepan room. This room not only had, I thought, fairly decent pricing. I mean, it's still not cheap. I mean, you're still looking around $15,000 for a set of speakers, an amp and preamp from Rogue Audio. But I tell you what, the room sounded fantastic. It was excellent. I enjoyed the sound there. I came back to this room 2 or 3 different times just to listen, because it was pretty crowded. I mean, they really had quite a crowd in there, and it was a smaller room. So it warranted, and you wanted to go back and listen to more. What it consisted of was the Rogue Audio new RP3 tube preamp and the ST100 stereo amp with the Magnepan 1.7 speakers. And I tell you what, the system sounded fantastic. It really, really did. I spent, like I say, 2 or 3 different opportunities in there, probably at least 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes each time. Loved it. It sounded fantastic. That's in one of the videos that I took and that I posted while I was at the show, and I'll put links to those videos in the description below. The next room wasn't too bad in price either, but a little bit more money, was the Atohm, and I hope I'm saying it right, Atohm and the Atoll room. These guys, I like this room a lot because of the way it was set up. It was just really a relaxed type of room. The music was fantastic. The Atohm Sirocco 2.24 speakers, they're the 2 that you see here that are the floor standers. They were actually wonderful. They sounded absolutely fantastic through the Atoll. I believe it was the PR300 preamp, the AM400 signature amplifier with one of the Atoll streamers. I didn't catch which model it was. But this room was one of the ones I went back to a couple, 3 times as well, because the sound was great and the room was awesome. And I was able to catch it each time I came back with not a crowd, a ton of people in it. It just sounded good, warm and inviting room. One of my favorites for sure. The next room, a little bit more stratospheric, and we look at the price of the equipment, was the Borresen room. And of course, they were featuring, Michael Borresen was there explaining the new subs that they got, as well as the M2 speakers. And then, of course, there was an AVAC new phono preamp that they were talking about, and that full AVAC system that you see here, and these M2 speakers. I mean, it was a fabulous sounding room, pretty good sized room, but it was fantastic. And those new subwoofers that they had, boy, I tell you what, the system was pretty synergistic. It really sounded great, but you're looking at an awful lot of money for that system. But I tell you what, it sounded great. A room that I was really happy to go to and sit down for quite a little while and listen. And they played a myriad of different albums, mostly streaming music, but a whole lot of music. They played their different types. It was great. Another room that really I thought was really, really good was the Monitor Audio, the Hyphen, and the McIntosh. This room was really a nice sounding room, but the room itself was not very good. The reason it wasn't very good is because as you're facing the system, as you see here, off to the left was one entrance into the room. And if you're there listening intently, you had people walking back and forth quite a bit the whole time. There was a couple times that I was there that they actually shut those doors to the left, which really helped out so that people weren't coming back and forth. But the music, the quality of the sound was absolutely fantastic. The Monitor Audio hyphen speakers, they sounded fantastic. It was a C55 preamp by McIntosh, and I believe the 1.25 monoblocks were powering it. Music in there was absolutely wonderful. Sound quality was excellent. Another one that really caught my eye, and I went back a couple times, the Marantz 10 series equipment with the B&W 801 series speakers. Small room for the size of those speakers, but it still sounded pretty dang good. I would love to hear that exact system in a properly sized room and probably even a properly acoustic treatment. The sound really in that room, and it was crowded, was really quite good. Not certainly the best sounding, and I'm certainly not the best sounding the system could sound because of the room. It was a really nice and neat experience. I tell you, the Marantz 10 series, I think they're pretty expensive from what I was gathering, but they look and feel awesome. That Marantz system I thought was wonderful, and it sounded really good with the Bowers and Wilkins speakers. The next room, well, actually two rooms right kind of close together, and I kind of combined it into one, was the Vinnie and Rossi and the QLN speakers, along with the Vinnie and Rossi and the Rockport speakers. Both of these rooms had incredible sound, smaller rooms, but they really did have excellent sound. Always been a fan of Vinnie and Rossi equipment. I think they sound absolutely fantastic. Here again, they're quite expensive, but the sound quality in both of these rooms were absolutely excellent, in my opinion. I went back there a couple times and spent some time listening there. One of the rooms that I did spend a lot of time in, and I'll explain this a little bit better in the upcoming video when we're talking about music, was the MOFI, Marantz, and Balanced Audio Technology. It was really what MOFI was they were really promoting their recordings of whatnot, the mobile fidelity, one steps, and so forth. It was really a very interesting room, and I'll talk more about it. But in there, they had Andrew Jones kind of talking about the Source Point 10s, the bookshelf speakers that you see here. There's an upgrade to those. You can upgrade the crossover. And I thought that was really neat. He was explaining that. Also in the room was Sean Britton and Rob Laverde. I'm probably mispronouncing his room, but they gave a really good discussion, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in the next video. But they gave a great discussion on why they use DSD in their remastering process. The conversation was excellent. We'll talk about that in the next video, but I tell you what, yeah, I'm glad I spent about an hour to an hour and a half in that room. And the room, honestly, sounded fantastic. They had the Marantz Series 10 SACD CD player. They had one of their MOFI reference phono stages, or their master phono stage. and then I believe they had up on top one of the Fender Super Deck record players, and then of course they had balanced audio technology. Sorry, a BAT integrated amplifier. That was the VK80i, and I know that's an expensive integrated amp hooked up to the SourcePoint 10 speakers. It sounded fantastic. It was one of the greatest sounding rooms there was. It sounded excellent. But we're going to talk a little bit more about that in the next video. And then the next room, and the last one that we'll talk about today, was the Dynaudio and Moon by Simaudio room. Now this was just great. This is the Dynaudio Confidence 20A. It's an active speaker. So they were really using the Moon 891 phone preamplifier, which has a built-in streamer, and DAC, of course, has a phono stage as well. They were really using it to stream to the Dynaudio speakers. The sound quality was stunning. It was wonderful. Dynaudio speakers, I've always been a fan of their speakers. I thought it sounded absolutely wonderful. I went back to that room, I think, 3 different times. They were streaming, I believe, from Qobuz, and I tell you what, they were taking requests and playing whatever you wanted to play, and it was excellent. The sound quality in that room was absolutely wonderful. Truly one of the better rooms that I heard at Axpona. Anyway, I got more information that I want to pass on. I just want to quickly do a quick video and kind of get you up to date with where I'm at, but I've got some more things that I want to bring and pass to you in the next short few days. Well, I'll talk about, like I say, some more rooms at Axpona 2025, but we'll also talk about some music, and really some new music that I was able to listen to and hear, like, who is that? And it was great because I was introduced to some new good music. And that's one of the things that I like going to audio shows for. And sure, don't get me wrong, a lot of the demonstrations are the old standbys, and I'll talk about that as well, that get used. But there was a lot of really new music, at least to me, that I was able to acquire and hear, and I loved it. It was great. Axpona 2025. Thank you so much for watching today. If you like what you see, please go ahead and subscribe. Leave comments in the comment section below. But we're going to be coming up really quickly with some more Axpona information, some more rooms, and we'll rank those rooms. I'll give you my top 10 by sound quality of the rooms at Axpona 2025. And like I say, we'll talk about some music as well. Thank you so much for watching today. Have a great day.